Hey guys, what's up? Today I am so excited to share with you guys how to create a good wedding hashtag. Now, if you're new here, my name is Julia and I am the owner of Julia Noel Weddings. On my channel, we share all sorts of tips, tricks, advice, and anything that you guys might need to plan your wedding. Before we jump into how to create a good wedding hashtag, I first wanted to address what is a wedding hashtag. A hashtag is a keyword people use on their social media posts to tag that post with that keyword. And then other people that are looking for similar content using that hashtag can refer back to it and find it later. The same idea is commonly used for weddings. Some people use their wedding hashtag in the beginning of their planning to help them get people excited and be able to give information about their wedding, while other brides opt to just use it for the day to collect photos and videos and other things from their guests on their day of. In today's video, I am going to be giving you specific tips and tricks when creating a wedding hashtag. I'll also share some examples, some real life examples from real brides to help you guys draw some inspiration. So let's get started. So you're looking for a good wedding hashtag. Think about this as your theme or your slogan for your wedding. What is the one phrase that you want your guests to associate with your big day? So the first thing that I want you guys to do is brainstorm. Jot down anything that comes to mind that you might want to leverage for your hashtag. First names, last names, any descriptors, professions, puns, rhymes, anything that comes to mind, just jot that down. Now, I'd like you to narrow it down. Look at what you have jotted down and what stands out to you. Do you really like how your new last name looks on paper and you just can't wait to use that? Most brides feel that way. Awesome. Circle it, highlight it. Having a focus will be especially helpful in this process. The final step, I know it sounds simple, but the final step is just to play around with words. Try to mishmash things together, play around with the words and how they sound. I know, it's way more complicated than that, so this video is not over. So now I'm going to give you some things to consider and tips that you should be aware of as you're playing around with words, because this is definitely the hardest part. And then I'm gonna give you real life examples, because I feel like when you hear real life examples, that's going to help bring this idea to life and really allow you to think about your own situation, your own names, and you guys will be able to come up with something that you like. So example number 1, puns and double meanings. God, I love puns. Anybody that knows me, I'm a huge dork. Puns, double meanings, that kind of stuff, just, I love it. So here, got my handy props. Here is a sign that I made for a client. And this is a great example of a pun because they used the hashtag nap time when, you know, her last name was Nap, but it sounds like a nap that you would take to sleep. This is a great example of a hashtag that uses a pun. Here's another example. I had a bride that asked me for some help with a wedding hashtag. Her name was Mira Rathi. She's marrying a Patel. So she wanted her new last name to be incorporated in her hashtag. So I went to work, and the two that I was especially proud of are Mirali a Patel and Rathabi a hotel. Wow, she's not gonna be a hotel, guys. Rathabi a Patel. Now, both have double meanings. I would even argue triple meanings. The first one can be interpreted two ways. It can either be interpreted as Merrily a Patel or Merely a Patel, but obviously using her first name. So that's one that I was incredibly proud of. The other one, Rathi be a Patel, is a play on words of her current last name and her new last name, Rather be a Patel. When you say it really fast, I think it makes more sense. But I thought that was pretty punny, if I do say so myself. So pro tip, make it short and sweet. Guys, I know everybody loves coming up with the puns. Everybody wants a pun in their wedding hashtag. But the one thing that I see over and over and over again is that people try to force their hashtag to have a pun, and then they end up with this really, really long hashtag. And let's get real, no one is actually going to type a hashtag that is 1,000,000 characters long in their phone when they are posting their photos. They want something quick, they want something easy. Otherwise, they're not going to use it. And what's the point of having a wedding hashtag if no one uses it? The other thing is you want it to be memorable. And if it's too long, people are going to be like, wait, what was in that? Was it this or was it that? Or I don't remember what it was. And then you would need to really make sure that you have signage, more signage, so that people can see it more often. and it would just be hard for people to remember. And then lastly, you even have to think about signage, because if you're putting your hashtag on a sign like this, you know, this is legible, this is easy to read from a good enough distance. But what happens when you have a hashtag that is so long that you really can't get it onto a poster like that or onto a sign like that, and then you need the font to be so small to fit the whole thing? Again, it's not gonna be aesthetically pleasing, it's not gonna make sense. People are gonna have to go really up close to even be able to read the hashtag. So while yes, it sounds really cool and you might be proud of it in the moment, think about the logistics of your hashtag as well. You want it to be short and sweet. Now, example number 2, alliteration. Oh, this takes me back. I love alliteration. There's something about alliteration that just reminds me of my freshman year of high school English class. In a good way, I love alliteration. For those that don't know, alliteration is when you have two consonants that are somewhat next to each other so that you get the double sound of the consonant. So a good example of that one would be my hashtag that I chose. So my hashtag for my wedding is finally Ferrigno. I get the two F's next to each other. There's no rhyme, but because you have the double F, it has a nice ring to it. I will say the reason I chose this hashtag, despite it not having a pun, which I love puns, is because it had special meaning to me. So my husband and I were together for over 10 years prior to us getting married. So when we finally got married, it literally felt like finally, we are finally married. My future sister-in-law's hashtag is Forever Ferrigno. And again, you have that alliteration, you have the double F. Pro tip, make it unique. The one thing I'll say about both Finally Ferrigno and Forever Ferrigno is that they're not that unique. Ferrigno is a very common last name too, so I bet if I Googled those two hashtags, I'm bound to find other brides that use them before. I don't really care about that all too much. People will probably send me photos and videos. I'm sure people are going to be posting it on their social media for me to see. Also, the chances of me and another Ferrigno getting married with the same hashtag on the same day is also not that likely. So it's not like my photos and videos from my event and my wedding are going to be entangled with photos and videos from someone else's wedding during the same time period. So that's why it's not really a big deal to me. But that does bother some brides. So in those cases, if it bothers you, you can always add your year, or you might want to opt for something a little bit more unique. Next, rhyming. Harder than it looks. I encourage you guys, when you think about rhyming, to go on those online sites where you can search words that rhyme with and just see what comes up. This can even be something that you do as part of your brainstorming exercise. Just jot down words that rhyme with whatever other words that you want in your hashtag. You should know pretty early on whether or not your last name or the word that you're trying to rhyme with lends itself nicely to a rhyming hashtag. Now, I know that I just got everybody super excited about rhyming and puns and alliteration and double meanings and all of that. And that's great. If you can come up with something that has a pun or that is unique like that, awesome. But you don't have to. Don't overthink it. There are hashtags that are more generic that are great and that sound awesome, and then they get the job done. So don't underestimate the value in a hashtag with some generic words attached to them. So for example, my go-tos, let's use my last name as an example. So my go-tos are usually marrying Ferrigno, becoming a Ferrigno, meet the Ferrignos, a Ferrigno wedding. The list goes on. Some last names might sound really nice with meet the whatever, especially if you have some alliteration. So there is some overlap, of course. A lot of online sites will generate hashtags just like I did here, and they'll give you those generic ideas. So if you're really stumped and you want to just start there, go for it. I wouldn't spend any actual money on that. I would just do the free generators first, because again, there's tons of free resources out there to help you guys with hashtags. You can even join Facebook groups that are out there to help you with wedding hashtags. So there are people like myself and others that are happy to help you with brainstorming a hashtag for free. So as a quick recap, first, brainstorm. Jot all of your ideas down, put everything that you can even think about on paper. Narrow it to a single focus. You guys can have several focuses, but do the exercise using a narrow focus. If you try to come up with so many ideas, you're never gonna nail a single hashtag. So focus your idea when trying to play with the words. And then third, play with the words. Take that narrow focus and just play around with words, play with rhymes, play with alliterations, play with puns, and see what you come up with and sound them out and see how they feel to you. So if you need help creating a good wedding hashtag, put it in the comments below. I would be happy to help you guys. I especially love helping brides that have tried this already but are still stuck. So feel free to drop your names and anything else that I should know about you in the comments below. And if you want to stay in touch with all things weddings, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I can't wait to share more wedding tips, tricks, and advice with you all. Until next time, happy wedding planning. You just want to be the center of attention. You really just want to steal the spotlight, don't you?